like to call to order the special meeting of the Clearwater City Council. It's good to see all our staff sitting in the front rows today as opposed to normally in the back. It'll make it easier for y'all to approach the dais and the platform when we have time to speak and ask y'all questions. So thank y'all for being here. Mr. Hamilton had a funeral that he's attending out of town, and he's not with us for this meeting. We extend our sympathies to he and his family on behalf of the council and the city. First order of business would be to ask if anybody from the public wishes to speak to an item that is not on the agenda of today's meeting, which basically is dealing with the budget. If you do come forward, we ask that you have a card filled out and give to the clerk with give us your name, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Okay, my name's Lisa Lanza, and I have 2 items and 2 parts. So one is about...
But you only get 1 chance to speak. You
I
don't
have
get
3 minutes, though.
Yes, ma'am. 3 minutes.
Okay,
you don't need 2 cards. Just
I can't... Anyway, okay, I understand. It's an agenda item. Okay, fine. Citizen... Let's see. This is about the citizen comment card. Actually, that's what I'm commenting on. And I really like this card. I think it's a great idea, and I know it was something that you adopted so that you could manage the meetings better, and so that people would not have to give their address publicly. And then there were some issues that were brought up at the last meeting. So one thing I don't understand is why you do require our address on this card, because at the state level and at the county level, I do not believe they do. I was one of the persons who proposed this card, but I didn't propose it necessarily with the address. And I have spoken at state legislature and at the county, and I don't think they require an address. Now, I got a response from the city saying, we want the address in case we want to get in touch with you, but I think that should be the citizens' option if we want to give our address or not on the card. Okay, so that's one topic, and then the other topic is about the stormwater fee. And routinely you mentioned that it's just about stormwater in general. Routinely you mentioned that how great Clearwater was. We're taking the lead on stormwater fee and all that. But I just want to, from a historical perspective, I quickly wrote some notes. I just wanted to remind the City Council and the public that due to citizen activism in the late 1980s and early 1990s, the stormwater fee was adopted. The League of Women Voters of North Pinellas County Natural Resources Committee, which was composed of 30-year-olds, including me, and under the guidance of Ms. Jane Hammer, who was a member of the board of the Natural Resource Defense Fund, conducted a 2-year study on mostly Clearwater stormwater issues, in particular the Stevenson Creek watershed and the Cape High Tree watershed. And there were many meetings and even publicized public forums, meeting on television, with citizens, and the citizens were actually pitted against city engineers and city council at the time. Eventually, after a couple of years, all the citizen activism resulted in a stormwater advisory board and eventually stormwater fee. So thanks to the citizen, I do want to encourage 30-year-olds to get involved, because I talk to so many and they say, oh, we can't make a difference and nobody listens. But if you work hard and you do your research and you work with someone like League of Women Voters, also Audubon was involved and Sierra Club was involved, so there's a lot of good groups that young people can get involved with, and I hope they do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak to an item that is not on the agenda? If not, we'll close public comment and move on to agenda item 2.1. Mr. Horn.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Discuss proposed 2019-2020 operating and capital improvement budget and approve updated Penny for Pinellas project list for public hearing advertisement. Mayor and Council, Kayleen Castle is going to primarily focus on the Penny for Pinellas budget. She is going to provide a presentation on the operating and capital improvement budget briefly. And then, Mayor, I think you have a desire to have the department heads come forward and respond to any questions that the council may have. So, Kayleen, it's all your show for now, and then you can ask for any questions, and then you can.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Kayleen Castle, Budget Manager. I have a few slides, some of which seem familiar, but just to give you a brief reminder, basically, of what we presented to you in July. The 2019-20 proposed budget for all city operating funds, the special revenue funds, and the capital improvement fund is $542,194,290, and this reflects a 1% decrease from the 2018-19 amended total city budget. This slide shows a breakdown of that total by fund type and the percentage change in comparison to the current year amended budget. The total general fund budget for fiscal year 20 is $151,993,200, which is a 1% increase. The total of utility funds reflect a 1% increase from the fiscal year 19 amended budget. The enterprise funds total is budgeted at 5% increase over prior year amended.
Ms. Castle, can I interrupt you here a second? Why don't we do the penny for Pinellas? Because I'm looking on the agenda, we have 2.1 and 3.1 on the preliminary operating and capital improvement budget. So there's no point in having you make this presentation twice. So can we just go to the penny
Okay.
for Pinellas? Because that's going to need our approval, whereas the budget is just going to be a discussion.
Sure,
Is that okay?
that's fine with
Council, is
me.
that okay with y'all?
Just taking it out of order?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm fine.
Okay. So this afternoon, we'd like to go through the changes that have been made to Penny for Pinellas, the Penny for Pinellas project list that are included in the proposed budget. City ordinance requires us to hold a public hearing prior to adoption of the capital improvement budget to discuss the use of Penny for Pinellas tax, and at any time there is a proposed change to the Penny project list of $500,000 or more. This hearing is scheduled for September 5th, but we're seeking your approval of these proposed changes to proceed with the advertising requirements for that meeting. To remind you, Penny for Pinellas is the voter-approved additional 1-cent sales surtax, which is restricted to fund long-term capital infrastructure projects as well as public safety vehicles. This list represents all projects approved in the Penny for Pinellas program. Fiscal year 20 includes the final year of funding for the Penny 3 projects and marks the start of funding for the 4th cycle of Penny for Pinellas, which was approved by voters in 2017. Changes to the approved Penny project list proposed in the fiscal year 20 capital budget reflect a net increase of $1 million. The following projects reflect changes in funding amounts and/or a change in the timeline.
Excuse me, can you put the,
Oh,
do you have that same
I think
slide?
I do, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see. And Joel, how do I make it full screen? Here. Okay. The Aviation Operations Center project, which provides funding for replacement of the Air Park Operations Center, is being postponed from fiscal year 20 to fiscal year 23. In the fire engine's ladder truck replacement project, the replacement schedule for fire ladder trucks is being changed to advance the planned replacement from fiscal year 21 to 20 and eliminate the replacement planned in fiscal year 23, which is not needed due to the life cycle of current ladder trucks. The funding for fire engine replacements are being changed to postpone fiscal year 20's truck to fiscal year 21 and add an engine replacement in fiscal year 23, which is reallocating funding from the ladder truck. This project in total is being reduced by $1 million due to the elimination of one ladder truck replacement. The Police District 3 Countryside Substation project, which provides for construction of the replacement patrol operations and training facilities at the Countryside Substation, is being increased by $6 million. The Waterfront Bluff Master Plan, Imagine Clearwater, project provides funding for the revitalization of the downtown Clearwater waterfront, and Coachman Park is being increased by $6,500,000. The downtown parking garage project was budgeted at a total of $10,500,000 planned in fiscal year 25-26 and 26-27 is being eliminated from the Penny for Pinellas project list. Funding will instead be provided by parking revenues, reallocating penny funds for other projects. And the remaining Penny 3 funding of $260,000 in the Neighborhood Parks Renovations Project is being transferred to the Ed Wright Park Renovations Project to provide additional funding needed to complete the park renovations. So this schedule all we just try to highlight changes with red font and strike through so you could identify the changes that have been made, and that's basically the list of projects that I just went through with you.
Okay. Council, before I ask for questions, let's go back to Police District 3 substation. You said it's being increased by $6 million, but the chart has a $1 million.
So this schedule, let me just, actually I should do this, break down the schedule a little bit for you. So the top list is Penny 3, and we kind of used Penny 3 funding, $1 million. That's the increase for next year, we put that in. If you look down at the bottom, we have a loan repayment schedule, and we're advancing this project to 2020 and 21. Penny funding isn't available till 22 and 27, so it kind of fell in that category because we're going to advance the funds, doing an internal loan, and that the repayment is shown when it's available in Penny. So it's kind of it's shown in two places.
Okay.
And there's a couple other, you'll see Waterfront Bluff Master Plan has the same situation, so it's listed at the bottom.
So maybe the chief can answer this question better than you. Why are we increasing the budget for a substation by $6 million?
Well, I could try to answer. The original $6 million was more of a placeholder than it really was a true number. The number we had, the desire to make this facility not only the operations and the training facility, is the police department does not have a Cat 5 facility for a hurricane. So to build a Cat 5 building, $6 million for about a 20,000 square foot building, it was just not adequate funds. It was more of a placeholder when it was initially created.
Okay. Council, any other questions on the list? Mr.
Oh,
Albright?
yeah, just trying to understand it. So 6 million was held. It went up by, the proposed change is 5 million?
Well, I think she has $1 million out of Penny 3 and then $5 million out of Penny 4.
Okay,
So
all right,
total
that's
is an
right.
increase of
That's
6.
where the other one, so,
Yes.
but we're not going to need it till 2021, 22?
Well,
No. So this schedule is a little separate from the capital funding plan. So in the capital plan, it's proposed $1 million next year for them to start the design work. And then the remaining $11 million is in the following year, in fiscal year 21. This schedule shows when penny funding is available for repayment of a loan.
Repayment, okay, gotcha.
Any other questions, council? Mr. Pogler?
I wasn't here when the decision was made, or maybe I just don't recall. Is there sufficient parking revenues to be able to build the downtown parking garage?
Yes.
And my thought is that with the expedited timeline for City Hall and that 6.3 allocation from Penny for that in 25, it seems, and I think we're still contemplating, as last I recall, that the parking garage is going to be a component of City Hall to accomplish deficiencies not only downtown, the beach. There's a lot of potential for parking within that structure if we go that right. So to me, it kind of makes sense to have all of that money available at the same time. And there seems to be a year or two difference of when the availability is.
This is really just based on when we receive our funding. And so kind of like you see the three at the bottom, when decisions are made and we start moving on construction, we would do an internal loan and we would repay it when it's available in penny. So you're looking at when penny funding is available. That doesn't necessarily mean that the capital plan of construction would correlate with those years.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And at the time that those decisions were made, we would bring this schedule forward to you because it would be a change of more than $500,000, and we would have to have a public hearing and move it at that time.
You have a lot of flexibility in changing penny, but it will require a public hearing. But what we try to do is that once you all have made some firm decisions that we know is going to impact the penny plan, then we get it right back in front of you so you can approve it and we know where we're going.
Okay. And the Public Works Complex, that is the solid waste thing that we're doing? That's the...
This is where the public utilities complex is now.
Okay.
A major renovation of that facility and the buildings that are there.
Do you remember where we do our tree giveaway?
Yeah,
It's
over
that
there.
complex.
So that's all over there.
It's that complex.
Was that money decided on as a penny funding before December of 14? Because I don't recall any of those conversations. I mean, it does, I've been there recently, and it's, yeah, it's, that is that. How does penny money get decided? Is that a staff thing generally, and then we have meetings with council members to say, okay, this is.
The way it gets decided is that we put together the plan and we bring it in front of you and then you approve it.
Okay, so this is,
That's how it gets decided. You know,
Okay.
generally, I mean, if there's some aspects of it that we know you have a particular interest in, then we'll highlight that.
okay.
You know, and then you may want to go in a different direction. But no, we don't go through every item with you in terms of how it ends up in the proposed plan, but then you can amend the proposed plan.
The original was 2016, that's the original penny list.
Okay, yeah.
And the penny plan is another example of where we try to make sure that our capital needs are being covered, because the only advocate for these kinds of infrastructures is really us, you know, and you as a council. So, and some of these facilities have reached a point that they're going to have to be replaced or renovated or whatever. So that's why you see it, you know, laid out that way.
Council, let me also remind you, we have not made a decision on the new city hall site or parking garage, so please, you know, don't imply that we've made a decision to co-locate, you know, a parking garage with the city hall, because that has not been discussed by the council yet. It may be an opinion one or two of us may share, but it isn't a decision that we've reached as a corporate body. Any other questions regarding the proposed changes to the penny list? Chief, I'm sorry, Mr.
I just
Maxwell?
have one quick caveat on the parking garage question that Councilmember Bublé asked about the funding. That is for the funding of around 500 space garage. So if it was a larger garage, the funding would not be enough. But that's estimated on a 500 spot garage. I just wanted to clarify that for you.
Yeah. That's good.
Based on $25,
25,000.
$22,000.
22.5?
21.5, somewhere in there. I don't remember the exact number though.
Any other questions, council? Chief, I'm still needing to be a little bit more confident of a $6 million building for a substation.
You're needing to be more confident for the purpose or the cost? Or which one are you
Well, trying to
asking?
justify the cost.
Well, I think the justification for the cost is that, you know, the building we have is built in 1983. It's becoming functionally obsolete. The training facility is using mobile trailers. If you've been out there, the life expectancy of portable trailers is such that they are nearing the end of their life as well. We remediated the range with the concept of putting this facility there to redo the facility. The cost is expensive because of the Cat 5 necessity. The Cat 5 need is a need that we have when the eye of a hurricane goes over the city of Clearwater. I have 180 employees on duty, and they have to go somewhere. And the main station is rated for 2.5, and that's just an inadequate building. So we need to have a Cat 5 facility for our operation, and I think that's what is driving the majority of the costs up. We were very open and honest in the early stages of what we expect the cost to be, but the staff is very diligent in not allocating money it doesn't have. So at the time, they only had $6 million that they could even commit to a project, and so that's what they initially put the placeholder in. The 20,000 square foot Cat 5 building is, I believe the cost is what the cost is, which is about $12 million, $12 to $14 million once you put in equipment and everything as well, but we're still working through that.
How big is the station, the main station?
The main station by square footage, probably 30,000. So it's a 3-story building.
But there's no, so the main purpose of this building is for the training and the gun range that we have?
So the District 3 has your patrol operation, the District 3 patrol operation, which is Keene all the way to Tampa. So our largest district. In addition to that, it has our SWAT training facilities, our firing range training facilities, and we use 2 portable trailers for training classrooms. Our design is to eliminate those training trailers and get in underneath one roof for a couple reasons. Not only does it provide a longer useful life than a trailer, but also to get to the space we need for a shelter, we're actually utilizing the safe for a legitimate purpose during all the time, and it co-serves as the shelter. There's the need to have a training classroom that fits our needs, and it's, I don't know what more I can offer you, sir, if that's not enough.
We did have that information, Chief. We just had a request for $6 million. And I think it was incumbent upon us to get a little bit better clarification
Absolutely.
as to what the $6 million was going for. So I appreciate,
Yes,
because we're going to have to, somebody's going to question us, I would imagine. So
Understand.
it's better to have the information out now. Okay? Thank you, sir. Any other questions, council? Anybody from the public wishing to speak to the penny for Pinellas? If not, a motion?
Move approval of the penny from the Pinellas, I forget what the number is.
2.2?
Well, it would be the approval of updated the penny for Pinellas project list.
So moved.
Okay?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the updated penny for Pinellas project list. Any comments, council?
I was just going to reiterate, if I may, I can see the importance, having lived here 23 years now, and the hurricanes that have gone through, that the city does need a facility that will survive a Category 5 hurricane. I think it's an important investment.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the updated penny for Pinellas project list. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Now, Ms. Castle, we'll let you talk to us about the budget for 2019-2020.
Okay, I'm just gonna pick back up.
Yes,
at
ma'am, that's
this
fine.
slide. All right. So this slide shows the breakdown of the total city budget by fund type and the percentage change in comparison to the amended current year budget. The total general fund budget is, for fiscal year 20, is $151,993,200, which is a 1% increase. The total of utility funds reflect a 1% increase from the current year amended budget. Enterprise funds total is budgeted at a 5% increase from the current year. And the budget for both internal service funds and special revenue funds reflect a decrease of less than 1% from the current year amended budget. And the capital improvement fund reflects an 8% decrease from the fiscal year 19 amended budget. This chart represents the change in property values over the last 12 years. Our 2019 certified values received from Pinellas County Property Appraiser reflect an increase of approximately 6.8%, from $11.2 billion in 2018 to $11.9 billion. And as of last year, the total property values in Clearwater have fully recovered from the recessionary years, and we are now experiencing new growth. The proposed millage rate of 5.9550 mils was recommended by the city manager and approved in July as the tentative millage rate for the fiscal year 2019-20 budget. This is the same rate as was levied in the current year. Due to the value growth, this proposed rate is 6.01% greater than the rollback rate, or what we typically refer to as the revenue neutral rate. The rollback rate is the millage rate that will provide the city with the same property tax revenue as was received in the prior year. The Save Our Homes cap for this year is 1.9%. With this cap, the assessed values of homesteaded properties cannot increase above 1.9%. This is an example of city taxes on homesteaded property in Clearwater, and as a reminder, the taxable value is the value after all exemptions. On a home with a 2018 taxable value of $100,000, the growth for tax purposes would be an increase of $1,900 for a new taxable value of $101,900. In this example, the city taxes would increase by $11.31. Trim notices were scheduled to be mailed to residents on August 19th, which show an estimate of total property taxes for the year based upon all agencies' proposed millage rates. This slide represents the breakdown of that total tax bill. Approximately 32% of your total tax bill is for the Pinellas County School Board, 30% is in support of Pinellas County government operations, and the city's portion is 29% of this total. and 9% support all other taxing agencies. Our first public hearing is planned as part of the council meeting on Thursday, September 5th, and the second hearing to adopt the budget will be Thursday, September 19th, both beginning at 6 p.m. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Questions for staff on Agenda 3.1? Council, Mr. Horn had alluded to what we've done in the past, and that was because most of our directors don't get a chance to appear before us during the course of the year. This is their chance for us to put a face, the public can put a face with the director's name, so we call them all up one at a time just to go through the budget in case we have any particular questions. Ms. Castleton, you sat down just a little too quickly. I want to thank you for the one slide that shows the percentage rates that everybody pays. So what that means is that your tax bill isn't just to the city of Clearwater, correct?
It is not. A little less than 30%.
So if your tax bill, and to make this easy for all of us, $3,000, the city of Clearwater gets how much of that $3,000?
$1,000.
$1,000. And what do we do with that $1,000?
So that revenue source supports our general fund. So our general fund operation is public safety primarily. That's about 52% of the general fund budget. Parks and Rec, library, engineering, so all of those general government operations. And we also set aside a little bit of that funding for maintenance of city streets, and we put that in a capital fund for street maintenance.
The average home in Clearwater is 100,000. Your next slide was 100,000.
This isn't necessarily the average, but it's a little more. It's about 118,000.
The average home in Clearwater.
The average homesteaded
property. Yeah. Okay. But again, that $11 is the increase that they get over the course of the year. It's not a monthly or a weekly fee. It's the whole
Correct.
course of the year, right? Okay. And again, there are no votes that we're taking today. This is just a discussion that we're having. Our public meetings, again, if you want to reiterate those dates, I think you said September the 5th.
September 5th and September 19th, both at 6 p.m.
And that's when we will finalize the millage. We will approve the millage rate and set the budget.
Correct. And those are the regularly scheduled meetings in September.
Okay. So with that, let's have some fun. Have everybody come on. Well, yeah, what the heck. So who handles the city council budget? Any questions on our city council budget, which is basically flat? It's a 2% increase. Any questions on that? On the city manager's budget? Mr. Horn, we have some additional staff members in the city manager's office now, or are we staying constant, I guess, at the 7.5?
No, we picked up we decided to put the sustainability coordinator and the cultural affairs coordinator because of how we perceive their function across the staff. We decided to put those FTEs inside of the city manager's office. And then we added one additional administrative staff member, to help manage the administrative responsibilities that we have across the staff. So we ended up with 3 people that would have been in the organization other places, but we moved them into our office because of their functionality.
Okay. And 2 of those positions, if I remember correctly, were positions that the public asked us to at least consider, the sustainability office and also to bring back a cultural affair.
Yeah, we had some specific interest in the sustainability area, and that had been kind of expressed over time. We had already decided, as far back as Greenprint, that we would do that, but we didn't want to do it then just for the sake of doing it. Again, we were still recovering from the recession, and we had decided that we wanted the work to compel the need for an FTE to be filled. And so that was the basis behind the sustainability coordinator. In the case of cultural affairs, we had reduced that activity, and just over 5 years discovered that, you know, we had just suffered from not having someone who really could make sure we were connected to the cultural affairs network that existed in the county and in our city. And so we then decided to make allowance for that. But instead of putting that FTE in Parks and Rec, we put it under the manager's office. And that's where Chris Hubbard, you know, we were able to get him back.
Mr. Albert,
And so was sustainability coordinator come from solid waste? Was that a transfer?
Well, she
or-
worked in solid waste. We created the FTE. I don't know whether we actually took it from solid waste or not.
It was not from solid waste.
Yeah, yeah.
It was either from finance or Parks and Rec. I'm not sure which one that was. I have to check on it, but it was one was related to Tier 60, the other was.
Yes, Pier 60, I thought that was discussed before, so.
But part of what's happening here is we're still about 180, 160 positions below what we had in 2008. But the idea is to repurpose positions to meet what is a new requirement, and as opposed to just adding additional FTEs. We need that kind of flexibility going forward because things do change, and so that was kind of how we sourced how to fill the position.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
And thanks for bringing up that point, because we do have fewer employees working for the city now than we did 10 years ago.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And I'm reminded of that every day.
Yeah. And we thank our employees because they're all working a little extra hard because of that. But that was something that we've had to face, you know, together.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Mayor, if I could just add one
Ma'am.
point of clarification before we go through. When you're looking at the budget for 2019, the current year, this is amended. And so when you were pointing out the change in FTEs in the city manager's office, that's happened in the current year. So that's why it shows no change. So just know that first quarter, second quarter amendments are included in these numbers. It might help some of them as well
Okay.
as we go forward with this.
And some people are probably wondering how we have half of an employee. It's not that we have half of an employee. He's shared. That
Correct.
employee's
Some of
shared
their
with
new positions are shared with CRA.
different departments and whatever. So it's not that we have half of y'all are, they work half as hard as anybody else, right? Ms. Aiken, do we have any questions of the city attorney's office? No, okay. City audit.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yvonne Taylor. I'm the city auditor. Tell me what you need to know.
No, this is your chance to tell us what you do.
Okay, not a problem. First of all, just to touch on the budget quickly, my budget is $226,000. It went down approximately $5,000 from prior year, or about 3%. That was really attributed to the fact that my former senior auditor, she resigned end of November last year, and the position was vacant for that time. And I recently filled the position Monday. My new senior auditor started on Monday, and based on that and starting in at the proposed new rate, so that's what really affected the decrease from prior year. What my office does is basically to provide assurance and consulting advisory work for the city of Clearwater and to the departments. We perform risk assessments to determine where the risks and threats and opportunities are within the city's processes, and to make recommendations that will definitely strengthen the work that is being done here by the different departments. So that's really what we're here to do. I advise the city manager as well as department heads on processes and mandates, statutes, ordinances, and other regulatory bodies' requirements, and make recommendations, and basically that's what we do so far. So my office is a two-person audit shop
Right.
that serves the entire city.
Question? if I
Yeah,
may?
sure, Mr. Pugliese.
Thank you. So it's interesting what you do, studying processes and trying to prevent redundancies and give advice to directors. Were you heavily consulted and involved in the wage and analysis? I know that was outside counsel to do that. The
No.
wage and compensation.
No, I was not heavily involved in that. I was involved just more like the average person, average employee, wherein I was selected to basically give my an account of what my position and my office does, and then the overall decision was made by upper management, the city manager's office, and
Right. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Kondo.
I served on the audit committee with you this year, and really was amazed at the high level of professionalism and the questions that were asked. And you actually answered the question that I was going to ask, and that is, do you have adequate staff? And because I knew at that time you did not have.
You can't ask that question. That's not a question you need to ask. Don't ever ask that question again, okay? I'm just kidding.
Especially today, right?
Especially today.
I'll ask that for each of the departments, maybe not today.
okay, well, in all honesty, my new senior auditor, it's really bringing my office back to where it was in terms of FTEs. I am confident that he possesses the knowledge and talent that I need to at least function better, more effectively. I will say that no, I do not have adequate staff to cover the entire city of Clearwater. I will not tell you I do have that. I know I need more, but based on budget constraints, it is what it is, and we make do with the resources we have until I can convince my boss.
And we don't want to get you in trouble, so we will.
Well, I'll use you as my back right now. I'll defer to you. So that's where we are right now.
Any other questions? So basically what you're trying to do is check the books and the numbers to make sure that our taxpayer dollars are being spent properly.
That is part of what I do. It's not it's not just limited to financials, to say the books and the numbers. The books and numbers definitely have to be a part of it. And I'm just going to throw in a silly phrase that my grandmother always said, you can't separate milk from coffee once they're combined. So I definitely have to look at those things. But I'm also looking at processes and operations and how they are being handled or managed by the different departments, whether it be through an audit or consultation, advisory services. So it's the big picture. It's not just
To
the
try to do
numbers.
things better.
Exactly, more efficiently, and to ensure that the taxpayers' dollars are being used efficiently and effectively, and management is providing or has provided the appropriate oversight on what it is that they're authorized to do.
Good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
We're finished.
Okay, thanks.
Our CRA department, any questions from CRA? Ms. Thompson?
Good afternoon, Amanda Thompson, your CRA director, and I am fortunate that I do get to be in front of you on a
Right.
regular basis. If there was a citizen or resident who was looking at this budget, they might be confused when they see the CRA, because it's just one big pie chart, and that represents our intergovernmental agreement between the CRA and the city, which the personnel costs, of course, are coming through the city. So if you're more interested in the details of our budget, that will be happening in September at the CRA meeting. And then I just wanted to hand you guys out, unrelated to budget, this is a map of the opportunity zone. I had a request for this
let's stay on the budget.
Right, so,
Okay.
Go ahead and
and that's it, not to talk about it, just
Yeah.
to fulfill that request.
No, I'm throwing a curveball at the manager, and I don't want him to yell at me, you know, what are you doing? Okay, so let's just stay on the budget. So what you're saying is that the CRA budget is just for personnel. You get your funds through the separate CRA district.
Correct, we receive the tax increment in our geographic area, and that money is restricted to be spent in that geographic area, and that budget is adopted by the CRA trustees when you wear that hat.
Okay? Any other questions? Housing and economic development, or economic development and housing?
That's on the day.
Denise Anderson, Director. Economic Development and Housing Department is comprised of 11 full-time employees. We're responsible for the economic development, community development, and affordable housing programs and services. Those services and programs are comprised of business retention, expansion, and attraction, small business development and entrepreneurship, a variety of affordable housing programs to preserve and construct single-family and multifamily units, our citywide homeless initiative, facade improvements of commercial properties, funding support for public services and facilities, and importantly, for most of the funds for affordable housing and community development are provided by federal and state entitlement grants. Happy to take any questions.
Okay. Council questions? Your budget is going down this year?
Yes.
Okay. Probably one of the programs that we don't really talk about a lot is the Clearwater Business Spark program. Can you just give us a snippet?
Sure. The Clearwater Business Spark program is a network of support services from various organizations and agencies. Our main library system is a key component of that and one of the founders of the Clearwater Business Spark network. It is managed out of our department. Audra Aha is a program coordinator for that. But additional agencies include Small Business Development Center at Pinellas County Economic Development, St. Petersburg College Workforce Institute, our Regional Chamber of Commerce, and the SCORE Network, formerly known as Service Corps of Retired Executives. The Ring is not officially a partner, but certainly engaged in many of the activities that we're now delivering through that organization and within that space. And then I'm certain I'm forgetting others, but it's a robust network, and we manage numerous referrals throughout the year.
Council, I was at the Florida League of Cities meeting last week, and one of the committees dealt with economic development and housing. And they spent 45 minutes talking about whether it's workforce housing or affordable housing, and which term you should use, and what cities can do to help improve the housing stock in their communities. I know we have a very close relationship with Habitat for Humanity, and we've been doing a lot with them. Can you amplify a little bit more on some housing programs that we've initiated here in the city of Clearwater?
Sure. We could be here all day, though, so I'll
You're
try to
not
make it
gonna
short.
do-
So as you know, we do affordable housing programs, which, as I mentioned, are preserve and construct single-family and multifamily units. That's through leveraged dollars. So we acquire, or in some cases, we're able to donate land to developers of single-family and multifamily projects. But most often, it's used to leverage funds through private investment or through the low-income housing tax credit program that developers are able to take advantage of, which is a federal tax program enacted during the Reagan administration. So these funds really are meant to leverage programs that construct single-family units like Habitat for Humanity, multifamily rental properties like we've become accustomed to with Southport Financial's Garden Trail and soon-to-be Woodlawn Trail units. We have the Senior Affordable Housing Project that's set to open on Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue here shortly, end of August, into September, I believe now. So these programs really are targeted to specific populations and income levels, and depending upon the funding source that we're leveraging, those income levels are established and then held through land use restriction agreements and others that are capped at, in some cases, 120% of area median income based on family size. And those unfortunately are rare. Our state program SHIP is the only program currently that allows funding for that income level. And as you know, through the Sadowski Act, we've lost funds year over year, typically through that fund, so we're pretty limited there. Most of the projects we do are at the 80% and below of area median income, which is generally referred to as the low mod income level.
What about helping homeowners improve their properties? I know the county is earmarking some penny for penny or part of their budget for affordable housing. Is that going to be shared with us, or?
Thank you for the reminder. So a big part of our direct homeowner engagement is through down payment assistance and rehabilitation loans. Those loans are sometimes deferred for the life of the loan, sometimes repaid, depending upon the income evaluation that we do. At no time do we put loans out that put a homeowner in a position of exceeding 30% of their income for housing costs. So that's part of the evaluation when it comes to determining repayment of loans. That said, we have a $20 million loan portfolio that we manage. We're effectively a pretty good-sized local bank for the programs that we handle. In terms of the county's funding, as you know, we have Penny for Pinellas 4. We're currently in rulemaking for that, and there's a set-aside for affordable housing that is limited to acquisition of property only per the statute. Guidelines will be going to Board of County Commissioners in November, and as of yet, we're currently working off of drafts, so that you'll be briefed on that in future months. But in terms of what the county's doing, their programs are very similar to ours. In fact, we sometimes compete for the same home buyers in terms of where they wish to locate their home.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, Council? Engineering. Our new engineering director gets to come forward.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Tara Kivett, Engineering Director. As you can see from your summary, the engineering budget is proposed to increase 15%, and that is mostly due to the stormwater fund. We're paying off a bond early next year in 2020. We touched on that during the stormwater rate study presentation. We've also increased one FTE from 136.9 to 137.9, and that is a new construction inspector that will focus on public utility projects involved in the right-of-way, neighborhood projects. And then a little bit of the increase is because of some larger investment in parking hardware. And I believe, as you know, Steve Ryder is working with you guys this week on one-on-ones, so you're aware of like the license plate recognition upgrades. Right. Any questions?
Any questions? Engineering costs have gone down?
No, we're increasing 15%.
No. I know, but when we go out and do the work, are we finding bids are coming in lower than what we anticipated?
Yes.
We are.
Oh, well, they're typically within our estimate, but obviously both design and construction costs tend to increase year after year.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Okay. Finance Department.
Good afternoon, Jay Ravens, Finance Director. Finance Department consists of 32.5 employees, 29 of which are general fund employees. The 3 risk management employees are central insurance fund employees. Finance functions include accounting services, payroll, purchasing, risk management, debt management, investment, cash and investment management, and the Office of Management and Budget.
Any questions of our Finance Department? Touch briefly on our pensions, just to reassure everybody what's going on with our pension program. Are we fully funded?
The pension plan currently is over 100% funded. We just had we've had an extended bull market since 2008 of excess investment returns that have contributed to a very healthy pension plan currently. We're hopefully prepared for that recession around the corner with some excess funding to help us weather the storm, including the credit balance that the pension plan has of 20+ million currently.
Council, the other day when we got the report from Mr. Ravens on our pension fund was the same day that the stock market went down 800 points, I believe.
Yeah.
And, we were lucky that it didn't continue going down 800 points a day. But that's the reason why we're, have a reserve and managers who know what they're doing. Thank you. Chief Ellers, Fire Department.
Good afternoon. Scott Ellis, Fire Chief, Clearwater Fire Rescue. Again, the fire department's responsibility is to answer the calls for service that the citizens ask for on the 911 calls. Again, we're at about 28,000 calls a year. In the department, we have 8 stations and we operate under 204 personnel. That is a reduction from last year of 1, which we were up at 205 last year. And that was through to your support in trying to do that peak medic unit that was being funded from the county. But because of some part of the negotiations, we weren't able to come to an agreement with that. We reduced that. The other one was actually internal one. We kept 1 position, so we're at 204. And the budget's right about $28.5 million, which is a 0% increase from the amended budget of last year.
Any questions of the chief on? Most of our responses are for fires or EMS, Chief?
EMS, that has been the trending component of the fire service for the last 30 years that I've been involved with it. Right now, we're at about 85% of our call volume is EMS. And as we went through council a couple weeks ago, that EMS funding is supported from the county for our paramedics that are on the units, as well as part of our budget is the fire contract with the county to have the fire service for the unincorporated county areas.
Thank you, Chief. Clearwater Gas.
My name is Chuck Warrington. I'm the managing director of the Clearwater Gas System. We serve 20 cities and 3 counties in this area with about 26,000 customers. We're adding about 2,000 customers a year to the system. We generate about $10 million of return to the city with all the different ways we return funds to the city. We operate several independent businesses. We've got about $1.5 million a year in appliance sales, about $2.5 million in installation business, and about $500,000 in service and repair business. And I would tell you that we are the sustainability program for the city. We're the green energy source in the area, and we do a lot to clean up the environment and between our gas station and just the use of natural gas as opposed to electricity, which is much dirtier to produce.
Any questions of Clearwater Gas? In the budget, how much you're an enterprise fund? Mm-hmm. Okay, so explain. So all of your
We have a separate set of books. We're part of the overall budget of the overall city, but we have a segment of gas fund, and we support ourselves. We raise we make money for the city through transfer payments. We also generate about $7 million a year through depreciation and earnings that allows us to sustain and build more of our system and expand into Pasco County and other areas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Human Resources. Hey, y'all have gotten that. I'm going through the book in alphabetical order. Very good.
Good afternoon, Jennifer Poyer, Human Resources Director for City of Clearwater. The Human Resources Department is responsible for optimizing our HR capability by acquiring, maintaining, developing, and retaining a diverse and qualified workforce. We do that through, we have 16.2 FTEs that are allocated to 5 different divisions ranging from administration to recruitment, selection and training, employee relations, diversity and equity services, and then employee benefits. Our budget that we are proposing is a flat budget. We were pretty excited that we were able to move around some things and to be able to offer our first ever diversity recruitment program. So we are offering that this year. That's going to really enhance our diversity recruitment opportunities and how we are recruiting for diverse applicants, and as well as how we are also developing our staff, because by offering this program we get a lot of on-hand training, and also it offers some certification programs for our 2 diversity and equity employees as well. Additionally, we are going to be doing a citywide team building activity with every employee in the city. So we're really looking forward to being able to do that and really promote our one big team. It'll be done on an individual team basis as to however the department has determined what teams they want, but that's something else that we're excited to have in this budget. And lastly, another change that we have, but again, included within keeping our budget flat, was the increase of the space for our employee health center. So we were able to move that into a larger facility in which we hope to be able to offer some increased services out of that facility as well.
Question?
I just had a quick question. The health service, is that through human resources? Is that part of their budget?
It is, yes it is. For the employee health clinic, yes, that is through our budget.
And remind everybody that, personnel costs, I think, are the largest really portion of our budget. So and health costs are significant.
It is a significant portion as well.
So the more we can do on controlling our health, and we have a wellness coordinator and all
We
of
do.
that.
Yeah, and also that's going to be included in this, and this is actually coming forward to you guys at the next agenda, the next council meeting, is that we are really going to be increasing our wellness kind of footprint. We're going to be offering a robust wellness program that's going to really promote and get our employees to take advantage of our preventative screenings that we offer. It's going to push them through to the employee health center so they're going to get to experience everything that we offer there, and then reward them for doing some preventative things that right now we have a low participation rate in. So we're hoping that by enticing them and incentivizing them to do the things that they should be doing in the long run, that will help offset our healthcare expenses.
And it is a volunteer program.
Absolutely, 100% volunteer.
But the importance is that sometimes if you catch something early,
Early detection is key.
it helps you out in the long run.
For sure.
Okay. And thanks to everybody who's participating in that health program. I think it's probably one of the best things that we've done in recent years.
It is.
I agree.
Good, thank you. Information technology.
How are you, Mayor, Councilmember? Dan Mayer, IT Director. The Information Technology Department provides all support and maintenance of infrastructure related to communications and software and systems, responsible for response to user needs as well as security and ongoing maintenance of that infrastructure. Our budget is approximately $8.8 million. It's up 7% from last year. It's about $560,000. Most of that is in the area of software and some hardware. We had several contracts that were renewed this year, and we added some software, expanded Munis capability, and then launched the upgrade of our payroll system. On the network side, we had some contracts related to physical security and Convergent, Granicus, some other areas where and we also have added some FTEs and some wireless and remote mobility capabilities to departments in response to their needs.
Any questions on information technology? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Library.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council, Jen Overmeyer, Library Director. Our department objective is to meet the informational, educational, recreational, cultural needs of our citizens and our community using a wide array of library formats and materials and a trained and dedicated staff. The library provides a collection of more than 500,000 items in 5 locations, and we circulate nearly 1 million items a year to almost 89,000 active borrowers. That's pretty impressive. And in furthering the City Council's strategic direction for fostering community engagement, the library works to preserve the community history and provide programming and events that has reached almost 37,000 patrons last year. It also works to promote the city brand through economic development partnerships in the downtown area. I think Denise Sanderson mentioned Business Spark. We're a key player in Business Spark. And also our makerspace or maker studio activities that reach a new segment of our community. We have 84 full-time staff equivalent positions, and that is the same staffing level as last year. There's been no increase. There's been no significant increase in our overall budget for the fiscal year 1920. And lastly, our capital items include approximately $700,000 to fund the purchase of books and materials. That's the same amount as the current budget year, fiscal year 18-19. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on the library? Talk to us a little bit about the East Library and how that joint venture with St. Petersburg College is working out.
It is, we just celebrated our first year anniversary in April, and it has been going so smoothly. We've been working so closely with the college in partnering with programs and services. So it's really been, the synergy between the two partners has been just wonderful. So couldn't be happier.
Good.
And I hope they'd say the same. And the only other project that we have coming up this year is, as you know, is part of the Imagine Clearwater, the main library enhancement project. So that's the only thing that we have in regard to a capital improvement for 2020.
How, since you brought that up, how has library usage changed over the years?
Over the years?
Well, okay, over the last 10 years.
Very much so. Technology has really changed the way we provide services. 10 years ago, we were circulating mostly physical items. Now it's a mix between physical items and digital, like electronic items. So there's really a hybrid, and I foresee, if I had a crystal ball, I foresee the digital remote services increasing.
Even more. Mr. Albritton.
And I never knew that you also, the library has tools for like rent too?
We do. We call it our thingamabrary collection. So we we circulate non-traditional library items. So tools, board games. We just added wireless hotspots that you can check out for 28 days and bring home or on vacation, and you have free wireless access. So it's a whole variety of items that are just non-traditional items other than books and whatnot, magazines. And we keep enhancing that collection.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the latest was the hotspot.
No more cubicles for me to go study in, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Marine and aviation.
Hi, Mike McDonald, Operations Manager, Marine and Aviation Department. Ed apologizes for not being able to be here today. We operate the downtown harbor marina, the beach marina, and we manage the lease at the airport, as well as some other land leases, including Krabby Bills. And we maintain the waterways, the navigation signs within the waterways. We have 27.8 FTEs, which is up 1 FTE to protect the investment for the Seminole boat launch project that's going on. Budget's $6.1 million, up about 1%, our operating budget. Any questions?
Any questions? You want to give us a quick update on the Seminole facility?
I think it's still on target for their December opening or January opening, but I don't know for sure. I can get back with you on that.
Okay.
Engineering's
Working on that. Very good. Okay. Questions? Any other questions?
Did you want that question answered?
Yeah, sure, Terry. Yeah.
They just did some paving.
Come on up.
Yeah. Michael's right. They're on schedule. They're under budget. Things are going very well. They just did some paving. So from here on out, we do not anticipate any closures of the boat ramp. So that's a good thing. We had a couple closures recently because of the paving work. So.
Very good. Non-departmental.
I can speak to that. This is the cost center that we budget for all things that are odd. No, no, it's for things that have a benefit across. I know. Let me turn the page. The major part of this budget is insurance, actually. So the budget for for property and liability insurance for all general fund departments is in this. We also do the transfer to the city's portion of TIF funds to the CRA is budgeted in this. And then other just little things we put in here if it's going to have a citywide benefit, but it doesn't really have a good home in a department. So sometimes it ebbs and flows in funding, but this year is kind of status quo with the current year. And we saw some decreases in our renewals for insurances, so you'll see that change. No positions are in this budget.
But again, it's one of those things that we don't necessarily think about, right, Mr. Horn? That the city needs to have insurance to protect its not only property insurance but also for liabilities. Office of Records and Legislation.
There are no, in terms of the proposed budget, there's a 3% increase, and that's due to the upcoming election in March. The department's FTE count remains static at 8, who assist me with the council's official meeting proceedings, as well as the lien assessment programs, and we maintain all the code violations on to make sure that properties are paying their liens, if any are taxed on that. And also as well as the official records custodians. So we make sure that all the official documents of the city are archived properly and work with other departments to make sure that their records are also maintained properly.
Council, when we were at the League of Cities meeting, there was a lot of discussion about some lawsuits that people were filing who don't live in the city on accessibility. And do you want to address that, or should we have Ms. Costelli address that?
I believe, Kayleen, I think it's Equity Services that has a proposed budget, but Joelle can discuss it into detail.
Hello, Joelle Costelli, Public Communications Director. In conjunction with IT and Equity Services, Public Communications has been assisting to upgrade the information that's on the website. So the information has to be available to be read for a reader system. So someone who is visually impaired, when they go on the website, they use a software that reads the website to them. So there are PDFs that have not been able to be read, and the city is going through and upgrading the website to remove PDFs, put information in a more readable format, and overall we're approximately 90% there. No one ever will attain 100%, but we Ms. Aiken can speak to the specific action that we've had from the legal side, but we are aware of this. We have a software that gives us a score every week on where we are with accessibility, and so we've been working for the last 6 months to get the website updated.
And you said we were at almost 90%?
Correct.
Council, the meeting that I was at, most of the cities weren't even at 50%. So again, this goes to the professionalism of our staff and how hard they're working on that. But that was a big concern, on some of the other communities. And you can go back. They were saying that some people have been asking for records that go back from the 1960s, just as a nuisance suit. And if it wasn't in position where it could be readable, on the computer, they were upset. And I think what they were suggesting was that if we have on our webpage site or official
And we do. We have on the Equity Services site, there is a statement online, and even I believe on our page as well, that does provide notice that if there is a document that it's not available through your reader, we will make sure that it's translated for you at no cost.
Good. Very good. Thank you. Any other questions of Ms. Cole? Parks and Recreation.
Good afternoon, Kevin Dunbar, Director of Parks and Recreation. Parks and Recreation budget is divided basically into two areas. That's the maintenance side of the park side as well as recreation. We're approximately 258 FTEs. That really translates into about 400 different individuals because we employ variables, seasonals, as well as part-time people.
as well as our full-time staff. 109 properties in the city are zoned open space recreation and are park properties, but we do most of the landscape maintenance in the city, and that's over 900 properties that we do either with our staff or through contracts. We operate 6 recreation centers, and we also maintain about 70 different contracts of different facilities that we contract out, and we do the contract management for that. A couple things just from this past summer, over 700 children participated in our summer camp programs, and on a monthly basis, we teach over 600 young children how to swim at a reduced rate to make sure that no child in Northern County is going to potentially drown, because we make sure that they know how to swim. And then obviously we take care of everything on Clearwater Beach. We remove the trash, we rake the sand, as well as we guard the beach 365 days out of the year.
Questions for Mr. Dunbar? Mr. Dunbar, one question that we get all the time has to do with the fees that people have to pay. Why do we charge people who don't live in the city more than people who live in the city?
The big thing comes up in our youth leagues, the co-sponsor programs, which are about 50% resident, 50% non-resident. And basically our facilities are paid for by the general fund or the taxpayers of the city of Clearwater. Not paid for by non-residents or anything like that. So we assess a rec card fee, which equates basically to what the average taxpayer would pay in property taxes, so that there's some kind of a fair offset for those services. So that's kind of the background behind that. Right now, that rec card for a resident is $7, and for a non-resident, it's $120 plus tax.
Do we give a discount for family members?
Currently, we do not. The discount that we provide for the rec card is that, actually, let me.
For non-resident?
Do a family non-resident rec card? Okay, yeah, we do. We do based on family. I think it's 1.5, right? Yeah. Two and a half times the, so that $120 is an individual. The second one is an additional $120. The third one and beyond is just an extra $60, and that's the entire family.
And does that cover the sports leagues also?
Yeah, yes it does.
So if we have two children participating or wanting to participate in a rec league and they're non-resident, they pay
$120 and $120, and that is good for the entire year.
For the whole year.
So if they play football, if they play baseball, if they play soccer, they just pay that one time, and it's good for the entire year.
Okay. I know we get that question, periodically
Yeah,
throughout the year.
the struggle that we deal with is that we're, in terms of providing recreation services, we're a full-service community. Most communities in the area are not, and Pinellas County is not even in the recreation business. So the individual that live in those areas, they're looking for certain services. They then migrate to the nearest community. Obviously, we've invested very well in our facilities and offer some of the better facilities in the entire region. So by its nature, they come here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Planning, are you planning director?
Good afternoon, Gina Clayton, Planning and Development Department. Our department has 3 main cost centers, but we have a total of 5 divisions with 58 staff members. Our department is responsible for developing all the long-range planning projects, the comprehensive plan, which guides all city policy and financial decisions. Within that division, we also are doing transportation planning and working with our neighborhoods. In planning, we also do development review. We're responsible for all the site plan review and zoning reviews throughout the city. Another work group is construction services, which includes the Development Service Center, which is responsible for permit intake and customer service. That work group also includes construction services with building inspections and building plan review, and that's where you see the big increase of 7% in our budget, which is to cover the supplement of private providers to help us meet our inspection needs. And then our other work group is code compliance, and they're responsible for making sure that all the plans that you have adopted and the zoning regulations you have put in place are complied with.
Any questions on code compliance or planning? When somebody puts out a sign on a weekend that is an illegal sign and they know it's illegal, and somebody calls us to say, how come we allowed it? How do we address, issues like that?
Well, I think it depends on where it's placed. If it's placed in our public right-of-way, we can take the sign, which we do. I'm sure you've gotten complaints of us taking real estate signs, garage signs over the course. And if someone places an illegal sign and we witness it and it's on private property, then we would either talk to the store manager or property owner, and if we didn't get results, then we'd move forward with enforcement.
And for people who don't understand what the public right-of-way is, it's not just the median, in a highway, it's also...
Right, it's the entire roadway and the sidewalk area, and a lot of times there'll be a strip of landscaping or grass. Usually it's about in line where you might see the power poles.
Okay. Thank you. Chief?
Dan Slaughter, Chief of Police for the Police Department. The Police Department has a budget that is proposed to be $44.8 million. It is reflecting a 3% increase from the previous budget year. We have a total of 374.3 FTEs, with 244.8 of them being sworn personnel. This budget proposal does include an increase of 1 FTE for a police information tech for the records section to deal with the increased demand for public records checks and public record requests. It also, the 3% increase is mostly personnel costs related to the recent collective bargaining agreement that was agreed to. Additionally, in our contractual services, it includes $562,000 for the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department. Since we are the primary law enforcement agency in the city of Clearwater, we do contract for some ancillary services from them. There's $150,000 for digital evidence in the video system to deal with the proliferation of digital evidence that now exists with pretty much every criminal case that we touch at this point. $200,000 is also for new tasers. It'll be time to cycle through to replace that product in the next budget year, and we will be implementing a new design that they have. And it also includes $220,000 for TriTech maintenance, which is our computer-aided dispatch system. We're broken up into 3 major divisions: the Patrol Division, which has about 211.8 FTEs, and then the Criminal Investigations Division, which has 63 FTEs, and the Support Services Division that has 90 FTEs, which includes our communication centers, which is just over 60. The Police Department responds to about 185,000 calls a year, and all from deals from everything from very significant emergencies all the way to minor quality of life issues, and we are very happy that the majority of the work we tend to do tends to be in the minor crime and the minor quality of life issues. And one of the other changes in the coming budget year will be reallocating some personnel, new FTEs, to create a real-time crime center to try to become more efficient and deal with the development of downtown Imagine Clearwater and the increased robustness that continues to exist on Clearwater Beach and around all the other city parks. I'll be more than happy to try to answer any questions.
You forgot the police volunteers.
Police volunteers are a very vital portion of our operation. They are very inexpensive and not really too significantly reflected in the budget, but their service is invaluable, sir.
Council, I don't know about y'all, but it was recommended to me or suggested that we need to do a better job of stopping people from littering on our streets and our beaches, and that we ought to hire additional police officers to respond to that type of a problem. Chief, how much does it cost roughly for each police officer that we have?
Well, to upfit, train, and hire just a new police officer at the entry-level salary is going to be close to $85,000 to $95,000. That's just to equip them, probably not even including the car expense that would come along with it. So it's a very expensive venture. I do believe that we all would be offended by seeing somebody litter in our bright and beautiful city. And I think that anybody that was to throw garbage down in the presence or the near presence of a police officer would see significant repercussions and likely receive some type of intervention, whether it be a warning, diversion, or a citation. I've heard other proposals to include people undercover for that kind of operation. There, unfortunately, are higher priorities that would be more appropriate, and it would be difficult to tell other victims of other circumstances that we are diverting resources for something like that. And it doesn't minimize the impact that that may have on a neighborhood or a person. It's just priorities.
Thank you, Chief. Public communications gets to come back.
Public Communications, Joelle Castelli. We are 11.8 FTEs. About 1.4 million is our budget. We are in charge of communicating whatever the departments need out to the residents and to the local media. And we use the website, social media, publications, mailings, utility bill stuffer. We're also in charge of the television station that runs these meetings, as well as the courier for internal distribution of mail and interoffice memos through the city.
Any questions of public communication?
One.
Mr. Robles.
Occasionally I still get asked why we don't do the television station the way it used to be, and that was a substantial savings, not only in FTEs, but can you
Yes.
give a little more information on that?
And during the recession, there was a few different proposals that were on the books for reducing costs, and it cost about the same to run the North Greenwood Library as it cost to create original programming on the station. And the way that people watch television changes, so people don't go to 638 anymore in general and watch it and look for original programming and shows that are being produced. So we had said we would stop doing original programming, save that money, and people go on demand mostly now and watch our meetings during the, like on Granicus or on previous broadcasts through YouTube and Facebook.
Thanks.
So we didn't have a good TV rating? Public utilities.
Good afternoon, everyone. David Porter, Public Utilities Director. Public Utilities serves the entire community and also the community of Safety Harbor for wastewater treatment collection. So we produce all the drinking water that's used in our community. We treat all the wastewater from our community and that from Safety Harbor, and we produce reclaimed water that's used throughout the city of Clearwater, not only for residences, but for most of the city buildings and grass areas. Our main goal is to provide those essential services, but also to protect public health, because that is what we do as well. So we protect the natural environment around us, and Clearwater being the bright and beautiful from the bay to the beach, we tend to keep it that way, and part of what we do ensures that. We do that with 10 different divisions, everything from administration to wastewater collection, infrastructure, maintenance, wastewater, environmental technologies, laboratory, industrial pretreatment, water distribution, water supply, reclaimed water, and also we maintain the facility that houses public utilities, traffic engineering, stormwater, and some of the streets and sidewalks. We operate with 196 FTEs, and our budget is approximately $101 million this year, and our income exceeds that. We have a very large budget for renewal, replacement, and capital because our facilities are some of the largest and most important in the city. So with that, I'd like to take any questions that you have.
Any questions, Council? You threw out the number, Mr. Porter, of $100 million, but our total budget is, what, 150 that we're looking at. So explain why you get 100 million. And
because of the extent of the work that we do. We have to purchase.
That's not the answer. The answer is that you're an enterprise fund.
That's correct.
You don't use the general tax dollars to
Oh,
operate.
okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood your question. That is correct. We do not receive any tax dollars.
Right.
We are an enterprise fund. We're self-sufficient. We operate like a business. And the reason that our expenses are at grade is because of the scope of the work we do. We operate 3 large wastewater treatment facilities. We operate 3 large water treatment facilities, 3 booster pumping stations for reclaimed water, and myriad other facilities throughout the city to accomplish the work that we do. And we have 196 employees.
Okay. Any other questions, Council? Solid waste.
Good
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Earl Gloucester, Director of Solid Waste and General Services. On the solid waste side of our house, we have approximately 133 FTEs. We take care of all of the collection, transfer, and disposal of the garbage and recycling for the 116,000 residents here in the city of Clearwater and the millions of visitors that come to join us here every year. On the general services side of the house, we have building maintenance, fleet, and radio communication. Building maintenance takes care of all city facilities. Fleet maintenance takes care of all vehicles and equipment owned and operated by the city. And the radio communication staff handles the radio system for the city. Questions?
Any questions on solid waste and recycling that deals with the budget? Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Utility customer service.
Good afternoon, Councilmember, Mayor. Ms. Boyd apologizes she's not here, but she's attending a family reunion. Utility customer service is providing a centralized customer service function for all the customer of the 7 utilities of the city of Clearwater. We serve gas, water, sewer, solid waste, recycling, and stormwater. We offer reclaimed water also. We offer this service with 4 major areas. That is meter reading, billing, collection, and customer service. And by the number, we run a budget of around $3.8 million and 43 FTE. We answer 13,000 phone calls a month. We read 72,000 meter a month, and we bill almost 55,000, almost 56,000 accounts every single month. Any question?
Any questions, Council? Great, thank you. So I think that concludes all of our departments. And y'all are probably wondering why we did this, but I think it's important for us to understand everything that the city does. And it's, we expect the lights to go on. We expect the police to answer our calls. We expect our water to run. We expect fire to provide EMS service. When we want to go to the library, we want the library to be open. We want parks and recreation. And all this has to take place, and all of this costs money. And so my last question to the city manager on this is, if we were to go to the rollback rate, and it would save everybody $100 on the average.
Well, it would be $11.
$11, right. $11. We would have to make some cuts.
Yes.
We would have to make substantial
We have to make
cuts.
some adjustments to stay within the spending authority we have.
Yeah. And so, again, to our residents and to ourselves, we're taxpayers also, and we're impacted by this. But we feel, I'd like to think that we feel that we provide a level of service, a professional level of service that our employees do, whether it's sunny outside and 100 degrees, or whether it's raining. They're out there every day working for our residents. And I think that most people would agree that they do a very good job for all of us. And we will have these further discussions, on the budget and approve it, on September the 5th at 6 o'clock. And then the final vote on the budget will be September the 19th at 6 o'clock. So again, on behalf of all of us here on the council, thank you to our directors, thank you to our employees, and thank you to our residents, because we are all working together to keep Clearwater bright and beautiful, or as we used to say, sparkling.
Mayor, we have 4.1.
Yeah, we have one more thing to go on, and this is agenda item 4.1. to accommodate, well, go ahead and introduce it.
Move the October 17, 2019 council meeting to Wednesday, October 16, 2019 at 6 p.m. Council members, this is just a request by staff to make sure that we move it so that due to the jazz holiday. So because if we hold it on Thursday, jazz holiday begins and the noise level will be to a point, since we're so close to Coachman Park over here at the main library, that we will not be able to conduct business. And so staff is asking if we move it. We will still maintain the work session since we have a scheduled CRA and pension trustees meeting that day. So really it's just to move from Thursday to Wednesday.
Any questions on that, council? Anybody from the public wishing to speak to agenda item 4.1? Motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 4.1.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any comments, council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Horn, do you have any other business for us?
No, Mayor.
Ms. Aiken, do you have any other business for us? Okay. Council members, any comments?
No, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Albrecht?
Yeah, I'd just like to say the same thing you did. Thank you so much, all the directors, department directors, and city staff. We really depend on you, and you really come through. Thank you very much. I wanted to make just a comment, too.
Sure.
Since I think the city, and you mentioned this before about the county-city joint use thing, doesn't look like it's going to be moving forward. Can we be talking about where we're going to be putting the new city hall, since we'd like to have a discussion on that? I think we should move that forward.
I think Mr. Horn had indicated that he's going to be meeting with us, on our meetings.
Okay.
Gives us, this, by the way, just came out, so it's sort of new, I think, to a lot of people that this is going to be happening. So we'll be able to concentrate again now on building a city hall facility for the city of Clearwater.
Good, thank you.
Okay? No other comments to my right? Thank you all again for everything. We are adjourned.